In this video, we're going to be doing some preventative maintenance on the 3rd Gen 4Runner. We're going to be checking the drain holes on each corner of the sunroof to make sure that there's no debris blocking water from getting out. And if there is, we're going to take care of it so that we don't run into issues in the future. Any car with a sunroof can have issues with drainage. And this isn't something that is only a 3rd Gen 4Runner issue. Again, every car that has a sunroof, there's going to be water that accumulates in the tray here and it needs to drain out. If any of those drains are plugged, then water is going to seep in some way, right? Either through the headliner or down the body on the side. So to prevent that from happening, it's a good idea to periodically check your drains in your sunroof. Now on these 3rd Gen 4Runners, I mean, these are 24-year-old vehicles, and there's a lot of gunk that gets in here, right? So it's important to take a look and see if there are any issues before any arise. Now the drains on the front are pretty easy to see. You can actually view them from the top of the vehicle. But the ones in the back, you can't see. They are way back here, and the hoses actually go down the C-pillar, so behind the back seat, and they drain that way. And to try to get a look at the drain holes up above, it's just impossible with the naked eye. So what I'm going to do here, I have this endoscope that I've had laying around, and I'm going to run it through here and see what I can see and determine what corrective action I need to take. But before we get to that, let me talk to you about this endoscope. So this is, again, an endoscope that I purchased on Amazon, and it's from a company called Tech. Now, I think this model is a few years old, so there's probably an updated version. But what essentially this is, your phone connects to this over its private Wi-Fi connection, and when it's powered up, you can actually have a little light at the end of this, and there's different tools that attach that you can use to grab things, which is kind of cool. Actually, this thing has saved me a couple times, and in one particular time, I dropped a bolt in the muffler of my 3rd Gen while I was changing out the tailpipe, and I definitely wanted to get that thing out of there. I didn't want that rattling around. So I used this with a little magnetic pincher, and I was able to extract that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to power this thing up, and I'm going to run it down the side of the 3rd Gen 4Runner and try to see where that back drain hole is and see if it's clogged or if there's any debris that could potentially cause a blockage. And if so, I want to take care of it. Okay, so I'm on the passenger side, and I've got my endoscope here, and I've got I got it connected to my other smartphone here, so you can see, maybe if I turn this, you can see how it orients. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to run this down this channel right here. And there's the main channel, the whitest part of the channel. That's where the slide mechanism is for the sunroof. But this inside channel, that's where we want to go, I'm assuming, to try to get to that drain hole. So what I'm going to do is just feed this in here. And I'm going to try to have it oriented up so that it is a smooth looking thing when we're able to find a hole. And there is the drain hole. And it looks like I got a leaf there blocking and some other debris if I back up a little bit. So I definitely want to clean that up. It's not too bad. I think it's definitely not restricting water, but it's something I want to clean up. So let me go ahead and back this out. Maybe just mark it. Kind of see how far I have this thing shoved in there. Put my finger on the scope here where it meets up with the sunroof, and I'm going to pull it out and then kind of map out where, where this thing actually is. And it is indeed right above the C-pillar. I extended the length of the endoscope where I actually ran into the hose itself, or the drain hole, and it is right about here, right at the top of the C-pillar. So I would imagine that the hose runs down the C-pillar here into the trim and then out through the bottom, which we'll take a look at a little bit later. Okay, so now we're on the passenger side, and I'm going to be running the scope down the outside channel on that side. So just working it through, trying to straighten it out as we go. And look, oh, we got a stick. Try to get around this thing. Oh, but I keep pushing it back. So let me try to work my way over to the left so I can get around this thing. Come on. Ugh, keep pushing it. Come on. Oh, did we get around it? No. There we go. Oh my gosh, look at that junk. I know things look a lot bigger than they probably are, but there's definitely some debris under there. Okay, keep working it back. Oh, and there is the drain hole on the passenger side. So nothing really blocking that, but there is a lot of crap in there, and I'm gonna figure out a way to clean that out. So I will definitely add that to the next step. So, okay, let's back this thing out. Okay, we're out. So I think I'm going to use my shop vac to try to clean out the debris. Now I have this hooked up to, it's a 1/2-inch hose, and I have it taped loosely. I don't have it a solid connection here. I don't want this to be have too much suction, so I'm going to try it with just a little bit of suction and see how that goes. It took a combination of the 1/2-inch hose and a 1/4-inch hose to get all the way back. If I had a 3/8, it probably would have been perfect. But to be honest, the debris, it looked a lot bigger on the camera than it did in real life. So here's a shot of what it looks like after I cleaned it out with the shop vac. Here I am on the driver's side and just running the endoscope down here, and I could see things are definitely cleaner. Okay, here I am on the passenger side, and again running the endoscope down, and things are definitely looking cleaner. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to run some water down each of the 4 corners, see how it's draining out, and show you where the water actually comes out once it leaves the vehicle. We're in the front of the vehicle on the driver's side. I've got a little watering can full of water, and I'm going to slowly pour it down in this channel. Seems to be draining. So the driver's side front looks good. Now we're on the passenger side front, and I'm going to pour a little bit of water in there. And we can see that that is freely draining as well. So right now I'm on the passenger side rear. And you can see that hose sticking out right there, right above the tailpipe. That's where the passenger side rear drains out. And now I'm pouring some water in that channel. And now I position the camera on the driver's side rear, and I'm pouring some water down that channel. And we should see some water coming out. Well, I hope you found that content useful. I know I have peace of mind now knowing that my sunroof drains are running freely, that there's no obstructions, and I'm not going to run into issues, at least in the short term. But I'm definitely going to keep an eye on it. It's really nice knowing exactly where those rear drains are now. It's something that I've always wondered, and through the use of this cool scoping tool, I was able to pinpoint exactly where they are. Now, if you do find that your drains are plugged, if you're dealing with the front, it's a super easy fix. So get some trimmer string, and you can actually feed that down there and try to unplug or try to break through that obstruction, and then test out to make sure that the water's flowing. If your back drains are plugged, that's a little more challenging. There, at least on the passenger side, you know where that hose is coming out, and you can feed the trimmer string up through there and try to break that free. If your driver's side rear is plugged, then you have to take out some panels in the back, and that's definitely a little bit more challenging. So there's some videos out there that show you how to do that if you need that kind of assistance. If you like this kind of content, consider subscribing if you're not already a subscriber. Give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below. That incentivizes me to create additional content. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.